feel that you have that they're kind of missing that you wish you could convey to them somehow?
No, I don't have an answer, but the first thing I try to get them to do is to sign up for first events. Please do this. I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't have done this if nobody made me do it, and I want you to go to have that experience.
For me, that is a big thing, that reason why I'm here. I think for me, like I mean, there's someone in the video kind of mentioned how like you think your friends are there, but your friends are no, and there's and it's gone. I guess from my experiences, I didn't have that much support, and this helped me a lot because it was just like strangers and like a week of experience, and you just bond in a way that's just you can't explain with another person that hasn't gone through sort of the same medical experience and stuff. And I just really encourage them. I really want other people to join if they can, because it's just been so positive for me. Just from the good that Brad has head cancer and stuff, like just how he can give that back, like his passion for this and his family and everything, like that's totally influenced me to kind of have that hope and faith and everything. Like I love first events, so obviously.
When we're watching the first documentary, actually, one of the things that the guy said I completely related to. When I was 15 and had cancer, and then went back to high school, I made the analogy, like my dad was in Vietnam, and so I just made that analogy of it's like post-traumatic stress syndrome, or like those, war vets that come back and they've seen shit that most 19-year-olds have not seen, like a 19-year-old does not see that. And so at 15, coming back to high school and coming back to these students that I'm like, you don't know what I know, like you haven't seen this. And so in the first video, I totally related to that when the guy was like, you can't, your family, your friends can all like support you and be happy and stuff, but they just don't know what you know. And that's not to say anything negative, because, they're supportive, but it's just to be around that same group of people that you're like, automatically, you're like, you know what I know, like, you've been there.
There's definitely a camaraderie, and we refer to it as the First Assistance family, and that's really a great description because it's, like I've never been to camp with any of these people, and I think the first camp or my second camp, I had a couple people from camp, and it was just like that instant kind of, okay, we know each other, we're bonded already, and then you bond with the rest of the people, and when you see these people, and we're like, okay, yeah, First Assistance, it's a great thing, so.
If I could follow up on you mentioned today you had this kayaking bond with people that you hadn't had before. I guess the question is for all of you is how does the kayaking bond differ from the cancer bond that you had with you? You talked about that too. It's like, well, you've got this cancer bond, and I can't really understand that. We also have this kayaking bond, and I don't understand that.
Well, I've never been in Middle America since last summer when I went to Wisconsin, and I grew up in San Francisco my whole life, and so the minute I got off the plane, it was just this beautiful scenery, and people never met, just kind of move away from your regular life with the nicknames and everything. A week with all these strangers that become your closest friends for the weekend, you're just there experiencing this. So I don't know, like I think it's just the experience I've had with the people there, of the new experience altogether, when we all didn't know what to expect. Like I really thought, all right, I can see this for sure, I'll go. Like, and it was all expense paid for me. For the first trip, if you can apply for a scholarship or something. So I stopped work, I just got out of college, so I was like, I'm gonna apply for this, and they accepted me. And I went for all expense paid just by First Ascent, so I'm like, what do I have to lose? Just still figuring things out. And so I don't really, I've been to support groups during my experience, the Wellness Community Center and stuff like that around, but those are a lot older people. Hardly do I find people that are kind of my age, which is, I think, the whole point of this program that really helped me out. It's just, I met one of my best friends that we joke around, like, oh my God, like my twin, and same height, with the same toothpaste and toothbrush, we were like rooming together the first night of the whole week, and socks, and she's from New York, and so, I don't know, it's just something really fun, and I think we share that memories. I don't know if that would answer your questions.
Well, we're also involved with another young adult cancer patient organization called Too Young for This. And so we meet up for those kind of events, and there's definitely a bond just because we've been through that same kind of situation. But for kayaking, there's a huge element of trust. Like, I was freaked out the first time I flipped over, and I just wanted to get to the surface as quickly as I could and breathe. And the way they usher you through and kind of walk you through the steps and teach you how to get out of the kayak and do the things that you need to do to be safe. And that was for me, that was a huge element of trust. And then have these kind of people who, we already had this other kind of bond, unspoken sort of, but then the trust came up, and that was the big part for me from first ascents. Anybody else?
I think there's a big physicality to it as well, because you're exhausted every evening after being out on the water, and you can't believe that your arms are so tired. At the end of the week, you've got some muscles you didn't know existed. So, that's a huge part that I think would be a bonding experience for any group of people that comes together, but you've got this shared experience to begin with that just becomes deeper throughout the week.
And just like Brad says in the video, like, I mean, maybe I'm just a super wuss, but like, it's not like entry-level kayaking in my opinion. Like, so, I mean, it's just like if you're really super into football and you meet someone that's super into football, you're going to start talking about that. But if you're all learning it together and they throw you into like these like class 3 rapids and you're like, I've never done it. I've never been on a boat in my life. I actually just went sailing the other weekend and I thought that was the most terrifying thing in my life. But so you're doing like an extreme sport, and a lot of the people there have physical limitations. I didn't think I could do it because my leg doesn't bend enough. There's people that don't have their vision. I mean, there's so many different things, and the people that they're like, no, you can figure it out. We'll figure something out. So there's a bonding there. Just in a sport, and then like learning it together is just huge.
I think Brad always says, like, the river doesn't judge if you have cancer or not, so you're there to learn to, control and balance your own kayak and everything, and so but you get a sense of control with that. And one story I'll try to keep short is there was one day, one of the last few days, we did groups of 3 or 4 down, and I cannot try, I get freaked out and scared. I was like the biggest crybaby ever, and then I flipped over. And I never really picked up the skills to roll back over. I just flipped over the day before practicing. If you flip over, you can like do your signal to like tap the boat or whatever, and we'll come get you. And I knew there were safety people all around, but I had a bad experience even practicing the tapping. I'm like, oh, I don't really want to do that. So I just kind of stay there. I don't know. And they're like, oh my God. So they flipped me over. So someone saved my life practically. And then I look up, and I was like, everyone was just all looking at me. And I thought, where did it all come from? I thought we were in groups, like they were way ahead or way behind. And I think at that moment, I just was like, I cannot believe the people at this camp. They're just so caring, and we're just all there for each other. So the friendship from that is just amazing.
If there are no more questions, we'd like to thank you very much for being here, and please spread the word about persistence. Show the DVD to your friends and your neighbors and your family, and give them brochures, send them to the website.